Okay, okay. I had to stop and start over again to flip the camera around and to get this book. Okay, this is called Childcraft. Now, I had this book when I was a kid. And not like when you were kids, a lot of you, when I was a kid, I didn't have video games. When I was 10 and 11, 9, 8, I didn't have video games. We had books, Childcraft. And this is we have the whole 8th volume. We have the whole, I have the whole, there was a whole encyclopedia. We had all of these little gadgets to teach you things. And in this, and to occupy your time, this thing, we had all of the Mother Hubbard stories in one book, all of the Brothers Grimm stories in another book, Science and Industry in another book, Important People in another book. I could show you at one point, but right now it's a little bit hectic. I found this book and pulled it out so that I could show you that it teaches you all kinds of games, hopscotch, all kinds of marble games, all kinds of things from back when I was a little kid. We used to do to occupy our time, and we used to make a lot of this stuff. Look at these little, I don't know what kind of game that is, but I think it was a spinning top game. But anyway, look at this, is made out of spools of yarn, thread. And I don't know what the hooks are, but they teach you how to make all of that stuff for making different types of games that you could play. Pin the tail on the donkey, musical chairs, all types of folding, paper games, and things to occupy your time with. How to make different types of things. I don't know what that is. Let me see. Something about burying a pot in the backyard. There it goes. Not the least of backyard pleasure, cooking and eating out of doors. Oh, they showing how to camp and eat outdoors. See, so they teaching you a lot of stuff. Here's the part of the book we're coming to where I started learning through. I think that's putting faces on fruit. I think that's what that is. I think that's orange. Oranges, yeah. Putting faces and hats on fruit. So, we have all kinds of, and excuse the gloves, but I'm trying to learn to be professional when handling my things, because what I'm about to show you, you'll see that they get kind of dirty if you keep handling it, especially for as long as I've been handling them, and I'll explain to you that. But anyway, here's the part of the book that interests me, and then I'm trying to show you the reason why I brought it out. When I was a kid, I was into string puppets, marionettes, and to occupy your time, like I said, when you broke your toys, you had to find a way to replace them. And if you didn't have enough, like I like to have a lot of bad guys. Back when I was a kid, we had kung fu movies on Saturday, and Bruce Lee was out. So when I was a kid, making something like this to have a lot of enemies to fight against usually was the thing. And, well, it became the thing because like I said, we didn't know we was poor. We just know we didn't have it and we wanted more. And so here, right here, is where the blueprint that began what I'm trying to show you started. This, when I was about 8, 9, 10, somewhere around there. Like I said, that's about 40-something years ago. I'm in my 50s. I'm mid-50s. And I made this right here. Little darky doll became this out of the socks. See, you can see the rib across the toe. From there became this doll. And I've had it all this time along with many others. There's at least another 10 or 15, but I can't really show you those right now. Sorry for, like I said, this camera. I'm not used to it. This is my first time doing any of this. I don't know how to focus it. It's just my phone. And I have to have it on the right angle. The only thing that's messed up is that the rubber band that I used to have around the waist decayed and broke and created a lot of problems. But I made the clothes. There's snaps here that I took off of something that one of my mother's dresses or something she let me have or something, so I can unsnap it and make it, and just needle and thread, really cheap. You see, there's no hemming. It is really cheaply made, but it was strong and durable. It lasts all of these years. I don't think it's ever been washed. I don't know, but it's been thrown around for a long time. And then after I stopped playing with it, it sat in a bag somewhere until I started looking for my origins on creating these cloth figures that I'm about to show you the evolution. Now, I intend for these rad cloth men to be the evolution in threefold. The evolution of my personal cloth men. From this to something I made about 13, 14, 15 years ago, to this, to the beginning stages of, this is a skull cap of what I started. This wire you see, it comes off of a Chinese food container. But this was the skull, and this is why I said handling it with gloves, because it gets dirty. This was white at one point, but from drawing on it, trying to figure out the center of the skull, I was trying to put eyes here, and I determined that this was wrong because the head would be too weak, too complicated to build. I was going to put eye sockets using this same wire, and then continue building the skull downward. But with the upper jaw, then the lower jaw, I determined it would be too complicated and too weak for what I was trying to accomplish. And it's a small. See, I don't know if you can tell how small it is, but this is small. The face would be only about 2 inches long, and I need something a little bit bigger, so that I intended it to be about 11 inches. That's what I was shooting for. Something around the size of a regular 11-inch doll that I can mess around with. I still have all of my old toys. Well, not all of them, but the ones that were strong and durable. One of these days I'm going to bring them out, because the ones that are strong and durable lasted, and the others broke up, and I have pieces of them. But this is the house I grew up in. And so I still have all of my, and I moved back years ago to help my mother take care of my father and then to help my mother. And when she passed years ago, I was making, well, before she passed, about 5 years ago, I was making this. She passed around in 2016, July. This is May, so in a few months, the anniversary of her death. And it's funny how death operates on the brain, because taking care of her put me through a lot. I lost weight the last year or two before she passed, taking care of her. I lost weight, I wasn't eating right, and now a physical condition that I've had all my life is because of that time has affected me more, because I haven't been exercising the way I used to. But anyway, I showed it to her, and she was excited. Now, my family wasn't the excitement type, especially for artwork, because they didn't see where art could get you. My father told me that artists don't make money. But that was years ago in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, late 70s, mid to late 70s. So I still draw. I create a lot of stories. I have 3 composition notebooks tied together with well over 10,000 possible superhero characters. I have multiple stories that I'm working on, but those are things I'm going to do later. Right now, something that I think I can accomplish in a month or two, even though, like I said, this has been years, but because of emotional turmoil, I don't work right under emotional turmoil, I guess. My creative juice is stunted, is what I should say. Okay, so this became the origin of the new version. And this was a test, so it's a little smaller. This was a test to see if I could create faces right into it. And it tore up because I used weak, old, flimsy t-shirts that was tearing up. So it didn't get what I wanted, but it showed me, I cut up a lot of it, but it showed me that I can build faces with the materials that I'm using, which is glue and corking, bathtub cork, and I had some problems with that. But anyway, this, what I made this out of is a rag used to clean tools from the job that I was on. I used to put advertisements on the sides of buses, and I worked in the bus depots, and I go to the depot mechanics and get these rags to clean my hands and clean up, and I collected a whole bunch, and I got a few boxes worth of them, and I don't really use them that much, so I figured I could use them for skull finishing so that they can be white, because I'm not using all white, because I don't know how much white I'm going to be using, because this is what I'm trying to do. This is a skull, and then after the skull, I'm going to make teeth and a jaw, and then eventually spine, a whole skeleton, spine, ribs, hips, pelvic, and leg bones, feet bones. And then I'm going to cover it all with muscle, and then skin, and it's all going to be made out of cloth. Now, I'm telling you this story because I showed my mother, and now that she's not here, I still have a lot of her clothes, and she's going to help me contribute to my dream. She helped me, she bought me how to write books. She's been doing a lot of things for me over the years. She doesn't, she wasn't the type of person that's to pat you or say, yeah, this is great, superb, great. She said, that's nice. But she will go out of her way to help you achieve what you want. So, this is from one of her nightgowns. these strips from a nightgown. You can see the flower design. See the flower designs on it, and these went from this to being this. Now I know I needed to be bigger. That's why I said this was too small, because if I'm going to accomplish this, the hands, I want the fingers, individual fingers, and in order to make sure that I can create the fingers the way I want, and not having to be big sausage fingers, especially if I'm intending to build women, I need these to be bigger. So this one is a good 2 to 3 inches. Or what happens here is that this will be cut down from here. This is all made of cloth. See? And these are the fabrics that I just showed you. I got most of the skulls I'm going to show you now are made from the same nightgown. It's a long nightgown. My mother was it was on the larger side, over 200 pounds, 5 foot 8, 9, 10, something like that. She was over 200 and about 215, 210. She was a little on the bigger side, but she was a very good woman. I loved her to death. Very beautiful woman. I'm missing her. I'm still missing her because, like I said, it's been 3 years, coming up on 3 years, and I'm only just now getting back into this. And then 2 weeks ago, I had to put my dog to sleep. Dog that helped me take care of her. He got some kind of tumor in his chest, and he stopped eating, and he was getting sicker, and I just had to put him down. And like I was saying, it's funny how emotions can sap you. It took me 3 years since I made this, because a year and change, 2 years. I made this after my mother passed, along with 4 others. Those other 3 now have spines. 3 others have spines and different degree of completion of rib cages, pelvic area. I haven't started the legs yet, but I started working on the arms on 2 of them. I can't show you that right now because I want it to be in a certain stage of completion. This is just an introduction to show you what I'm trying to accomplish, because I haven't accomplished it yet. I'm still working on this. This is all first time. And the funny thing is, when it took me 2 years since my mother passed when I started making these to get to this point. And then when I saw my dog getting sick and starting to die, I knew it was coming. I just felt that he was getting sick. That I told her, I told him one day, what, are you going to die on me too now? And that's what he was doing. But I felt it coming. When dogs get sick, sometimes they start going into dark places and staying, and he wasn't that type of dog to stay away. So I knew that it was coming. He felt it. The way he looked at me and things like that, I knew it was coming. But anyway, before I break down, this happened only 2 Sundays back. So, but when I see he was getting sicker, I began work again. So my mother stopped me from working for 2 years, and my dog going kind of got me started again, and I made these 3. Now, the materials. These 3 are slightly bigger than this one. I didn't intend it that way, but I forgot to measure when and I was stretching the skulls to make them longer towards the back. Oblong, egg-shaped. See? To make them oblong like that, egg-shaped, I had to, each one is an individual. Each one comes out slightly different, so no two will ever be the same. No two will ever be the same. I have no children, and I'm alone now. I have family, but we don't really get along. So I'm alone now. So the last couple of years since my mother passed, I intend to draw some of my blood, put them in 18 ampules, along with some of my hair, with roots attached in separate containers, and put them in the chest cavity of 18, the first 18 that I make. And I want to make 18 3/6s. That has something to do with my life. I know y'all as 3/6s, and I was raised a Catholic, so I know the implications of the 3/6s, but it's always been good luck to me. I've had it reoccur, even though in my life, when my mother passed, it was 6 days after her death. After her birthday when she passed, and when she died, she took 2 other people with her, so 3 people passed. My uncle and my grandniece, who was 3 weeks old. So that number keeps popping up on me. It's a guide for me. So the numbers have always been, my bank account. And when my father got me when I was a little child, one of the telecodes was 666 or 999, 699 or 669, or some variations of that. I don't know if I still have those books, but they were in there. But anyway, so two of these I made 2 weeks ago, right before my dog, I put him to sleep, and the other one I made a week later, and then I kind of shut down this last week. I haven't been able to work, but I am moving towards getting past that. I don't want it to be another 2 years. I can't afford that. So I'm hoping to make this work for me. Now, the other two, like this one, I made a mistake by cutting holes for the eyes this soon. But I was in a rush, emotionally. I was emotionally in a rush. So, I made the mistake. My problems being that I've spent the last 5, 6, 7, 8 years combing the internet to see if anybody has done anything like this, so that I can either learn a little something and to see how prominent it is, because I've learned how to use Photoshop and draw, but online I'd be one amongst hundreds, if not thousands, of people painting online. I got clay, and I want to build statues like the superhero statues that some of those places put out in Comic-Con. You see on Comic-Con, and these guys put on YouTube that collect these resin statues. Well, that's my goal for these, to look as good as Superman Hush or Batman Hush. If I can accomplish the body of those and the faces of those of that caliber on these, then I will call my experience success. These are the idea was birthed from my second attempt. I was attempting to make this for my niece about 13, 14 years ago. She's about 12 or 13 or something like that, and I was talking about my CLOTHMan that I made when I was a kid, and I was trying to show all of them, but nobody wanted to learn. Even though they were much more simpler than this, I wanted to make her one that, and at the time, I wanted to make her something that was better than what I had made before, so I attempted to make this. And I failed because I ran out of materials. You're supposed to have leather boots and a spandex outfit with leather accents, and I just never was able to find the right spandex. But because I made this, look, it still has the needle from where I was stitching, still has the needle in its neck with the thread. So I put all of these hairs in individually, and that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use thread again, except I'm going to use thread with glue to make it stiff so that I can shave it and give him razor stubble on the face. I'm going to create a jaw, a mouth that opens with teeth, and I'm going to show you that now because, like I said, 2 years ago, about 2 years ago after my mother passed, I made 4 heads. I made 3 like this material. The same material that I make these out of. It's just that this had a different corking. I ran out of the cork. This cork is the same exact brand, but this one was thicker and pastier. The one I used for this had more silicone in it, and even though it's been 2-3 weeks, some of these haven't gotten hard as I want them to do. This one has still a little soft spots. This one is this one is the last one I made. This is still soft. I can feel it. Oh, this one's still soft too. But they're not supposed to be that soft. I wanted the cork. Let me see if I can get a piece of that cork. It's supposed to dry and be hard like this. See, that cork is still rubbery, but it's stiff like rubber. But this is what the new stuff came out looking like. Clear silicone, even though it started out white like this, it turned into this gel, soft, extremely soft silicone. So it's taking so much time for the glue and the silicone to set up because it's never going to get hard because of this. It's not supposed to be this. I wanted it to be the cork. And the cork failed me. They put too much. They made a different recipe. So now I'm going to have to, next time I go to the Home Depot, I'm going to have to get something. I'm not going to be buying them anymore. Well, I could still use them, but I bought some liquid latex, some clear liquid latex. I figure liquid latex they put on your skin. So if I use that to infuse the material with for the outside, the body, the layer, the skin, that it wouldn't be harmful for people. But I know there's a lot of chemicals in this, and especially when it's curing, it should be not handled by fingers. So I didn't want to put anything that's could harm anybody. So after this cures, it's going to have layers, extra layers on the top, because I got to put the teeth in. Like, this is the fourth one. This is the original, one of the original 5. The original 5, that's why you see all of that white. Not like these. These don't have no white because it turned from white to this clear stuff that I showed you. And this is supposed to stay like that. See, this stuff. It stayed white, and it's more pasty, a thicker paste. The new stuff is more like a thicker Elmer's glue. It's more watery, and it even feels watery while it's curing, like the water is coming out of it, and it turns from white to clear, and that's not what I wanted. I wanted that thicker, heavy paste, and then I mix it with the glue, and it becomes really hard. You can hear that. See? You can hear these. They feel this. It feels it's not as hard. You can hear the hollowness, but that's because I haven't cut off all of the back, so it sounds hollow. But it should have a higher pitch sound to it, harder. This stuff is still soft. And I originally wanted it to be soft because I enjoyed playing with these guys so much. So I wanted it to be soft. But the idea of having a skull just made sense. When I put the layers of skin on, it's going to be soft anyway, and I'm not going to be playing with them. Well, I probably will, because I intend to make swords and armor and realistic stuff. I want to make, these guys are going to be characters. They're going to have real names, regular names, and they're going to be playing characters in my movies, or my action comic books. That's my ultimate goal. And here, this is the teeth. This is a piece of plastic that I got off of a lid. Let me see if I can get what's left of it. Hold on, I'm going to pause. Now, I'm back. Okay. This is, I'm attaching the teeth using a heavy cord. It's not that thick, but it's pretty strong. I'm using 2 kinds. I have 2 kinds of string that I use.